All right, so I'm going to be covering some of Jamaica's finest athletes, such as Wayne Pinnock, Kerry Nugent, Rushan Clark, Hansle Parchment, and we're also going to talk a little bit about the performance of Rushy Broadbell, despite last year falling in the World Championship final. He came through at the Olympics, and we're just going to talk about it. And also, I'm going to address the situation with Shelly and Fraser in Paris and how things turned out without Sharika Jackson. First off, we're going to address the Wayne Pinnock performance. The guy, silver medalist from last year. Wayne Pinnock had a rough year, but he came out despite having a 796 in the long jump qualification. That was a little bit less than some of his competitors. He came second in the final, which is probably one of the most competitive long jump Olympic finals, apart from 2021, when Tentagolu and the guy from Cuba had both jumped 841. This was a very competitive, especially in the top three. And then, so, when you see the likes of Jacob Fitcham Dukes and Jiang Weng and Simon Emery, who jumped better than you and then for him to come in the final and just put everything down, what he'd been training for years and months, to the test, just shows the resilience and perseverance of what Pinnock is as a person, his character, and also an athlete. Many athletes don't have that kind of determination, but yet still he came out and showed what he was made of. And despite Kerry McLeod having won the national championship with 838 and competing with Tentagolu in the Diamond League in Doha earlier in May with a win 88.52, it's sad to see Kerry jump on the 8 meters, but I grew up with Kerry, going to high school, and all I say is, Pinnock, well done, and carry out. Bro, we know you will bounce back. Everything happens for a reason. 2025 World Championship, hopefully we see 2 medals, So that's what I want to see. But, it's in God's hands. Next athlete. Ackera Nugent. Ackera Nugent faced one of the toughest 100-meter hurdle fields, and it didn't even comprise of some of the women athletes in this field that we normally see, like Nia Ali, Danielle Williams, Kendall Harrison, some of the veterans. 2 of them didn't make U.S. team, and the other one made Jamaica team. But, it was just a tough Olympics for her. And on top of that, Ackera Nugent faced the same, seeing that she only ran a 12:44 in the semis and was probably one of the fastest losers to make the final. No, the hurdle is a very technical event, and I've seen it. I've seen from the races. I've seen even when Ackera Nugent ran the 12:28 the other day to win the national record, right? Remember I said hurdle is a technical race? Her technique in the first part of the race is kind of choppy. It looks clean towards the end with the top end speed, but that's the reason why it didn't work, because when you're going against a world-class field like Masai Russell and Alyssa Johnson and Mayella and Jasmine Camacho Quinn and Charlton, you need your technique intact, because it's technique, getting over the hurdles, and speed to win the race. I hope she learns her lesson. I hope she goes back in training and really focus on that first part of her race, because that first part of her race is very crucial in this event, especially since in hurdles, the women are not winning with 12.5 anymore. The winning times is 12.3 and 12.4. Those days are gone. It's faster, faster competition. So all the best, Ackera, and I hope to see you in 2025 for the World Championships, and hopefully, with God's grace, 2028 Olympics in LA. Next person we're gonna address, answer Parchment, the 2012 bronze medalist, 2021 Olympic champion, and the 2023 World Championship silver medalist. No, Answer Parchment had a very rough heat. Seemed like his technique was off from me watching the race, because I didn't watch the race live, but I got to see the recording. And the semis, he ran a little bit better, but in the finals, sorry to say, he came last. However, he has been one of the best Jamaican sprint hurdlers in the past decade. I really give him his flowers for that. He always performs when he has to and when people least expect it. And kudos to some of the younger compatriots like Orlando Bennett, who made his first major world final as a senior athlete. He ran 13:09 in the prelims. No, not prelims, semis. Made the finals. And Rashid Bardbell, who stumbled out of the World Championship final last year, seemed like he got things together for the Olympics, and he left with a bronze. And Grant Holloway came roaring for the gold with a sub-13 after being not Olympic champion and losing to Hansle Parchment. So, the event has evolved, and, the guys have got more competitive, and, we got to see a good look out on the future of Broadbelt, and we got to also enhance what Hansle Parchment has done despite his Olympic performance. But still a good Olympic performance, according to me, especially when you're going against some of the fastest hurdlers in the world, Next, Rashawn Clark. Rashawn Clark had a very competitive field. When you talk about Rai Benjamin, who he basically was beaten by Warholm for years and years and years. And you have McMaster from British Virgin Island, who was a silver medalist at the World Championship. He came fifth in the final. And Rai Benjamin got the gold. And Rashawn Clark, that came fourth last year, came last. It seemed like, the race, I watched the final, it seemed like the race was too fast, and Clark didn't get everything together, and he ended up dropping out of the race. One thing I can say to him is, go back to the drawing board. I hope the coach, whoever his coach is, I don't know his coach, but, he looks at it, but he's still fairly young. So, he still has time to get, certain things together. But I hope, he gets to run more 400s and things of that nature, because the 400-meter hurdles field and the event has changed. Back in the days, you can run 47 and 47 high and 48 low and win the 400-meter hurdles. Nowadays, is sub 47 or low 47 to win it. So, or even place or come in the top 5 or top 8. It's just a different. Times change, and I wish him all the best. The young man has a lot of potential. He just has a lot of things he has to, work on. Sharik, the Shellyan situation. So Shellyan, She ran a very good heat in Paris, but unfortunately, before the semis, she didn't get to warm up because I guess Paris had some new rule where you couldn't come there a certain time before warm up, and you only was able to. And you know what's another mind blowing is that I had to go on Quest Times to see this information. The Gleaner, which is one of the national newspaper, also along with the Observer, couldn't even give the updates on the athletes. But I mean, that's not the point of this. But it's just very sad to see how they treated, one of the most decorated and celebrated athletes and a generational athlete. Shelly-Ann Fraser is not just any kind of athlete. She has multiple Olympic titles and, world championship titles. So the disrespect that she received, I'm heartbroken. However, let's address the Shericka Jackson situation. Despite her being injured, the 100 and 200 meter finals went well. We got to see the likes of Julian Alfred finally stepping up to the plate. She's from St. Lucia, but she went to St. Catherine High School in Jamaica. But so I mean, you could kind of give some of her background training and credit to Jamaica in her early stages, and then when she transferred on and went on to University of Texas under Edric Floril, she continued to do what she had to do, and she came and showed what she had in this World Championship final. And Tia Clayton, even though she came 8th, it seemed like she took the torch from Shelly-Ann, Elaine, and Shericka, and did what she had to do. And also her and the 4x1 team came 5th in the final of the 4x100 meter women at the Olympics 2024. And with some of her young teammates in Kimber Nelson, Alana Reid. So with that being said, I'm glad to talk about the performances of Wayne Pinnock, Kira Nugent, Hansle Parchment, Rashawn Clark, and the situation with Shelly-Ann in Paris, and recapping and giving some insight on some of the younger athletes. But with that being said, that's the end of Kenny Analyst. Big up Jamaica too.